Hi everybody, this is Harmony with Cornerstone Stitchery and welcome to my channel. Here we talk about my crafting journey, which usually revolves around cross stitch with some knitting, crochet, whenever the mood strikes. I know that this video is overdue, but of course you understand that life happens. And if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that I have been suffering with migraines, and sometimes that just prevents things from happening. Also, work. So work can get in the way. So thank you for being patient. I do want to say welcome to all of the new subscribers that have joined the family since the last time I was able to visit with you. I'm so happy to have you here. I appreciate you taking the time to watch, like, subscribe, and comment, whatever one of those activities that you do here on my channel. I really do appreciate it, and it really means a lot to me. I have been meaning to come and film another video to chat with you about a Prairie Schooler September for a week now, but like I said, life and migraines and work and all those kinds of things. So we have a lot to talk about, and let's go ahead and get started, okay? So before the last video, before September started, I was actually working on a project and I realized that I forgot to show that project to you. So I'm going to do it now. This is Legendary Girls by Tumbleweeds, which is a division of Little House Needleworks. And I was working on this and then I decided, you know what, it's easy stitch. I'm just going to stitch on it until I get it done. Well, September came a little too quickly and I almost got this done. So let me show you. So this is where we are. I am using the DMC conversion listed on the chart. Sorry, I was just looking. Because some of the Little House Needleworks, like the older ones, don't use Classic Colorworks, or then it was Crescent Colors, and some use DMC. So I was just double checking. So let's see. I have a little tiny bit down here, like this little flower bud needs to be filled in. In between the chevron, the zigzag, there's stitches, so I need to fill that in. And then, oh, which one is it? Oh, okay, sorry. It's been a while since I looked at this project, so there's lines here. In the last video, I think I had those lines, but I stitched them in this color here, the color that the stars are, and they're not supposed to be that color. I think they're supposed to be green. Well, my husband said, it looks fine. What do you want to do? Well, I didn't want the stars and the lines to be the same color next to each other. So I just took them out and I need to put them back in. So all in all, I have 3 lines on this side, 3 lines on this side, a little bit of stitches down here. It's just fiddly and I don't know if I want to carry my thread over. But like I said, if September hadn't came as quickly as it did, I would have had this one done. So this is using the DMC conversion, stitched on 28 count Monaco that I coffee and tea dyed myself. Almost done. This one I'm going to frame and I'm going to take it to work and use 3M Velcro strips to hang it up on my cupboard at work, because I think that'll be really cool. So almost finished with that one. Okay, so now Prairie Schooler September. I have my entire stack upside down. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from the bottom of the list to the top of the list. So what I did get through the list 2 times. And then I think I started working on, I can't remember. I think it was Halloweenies again, because it was easy. And then, yeah, we're going to go with that. So each of these projects got over 1,000 stitches, probably not, like, maybe less than 1,050. I wouldn't say more than 1,050. All of my numbers are on my iPad, and I forgot my iPad downstairs, and I'm tired, not gonna go get it. So just trust me that I do not think it, anyways, it's around 1,050 max, okay? And there's 18 projects. I do believe that I got somewhere around 18,964 stitches on these projects, and these are the only cross stitch projects that I worked on. I did a little bit of crochet. I'll show you that in a bit, just a little bit. And so let's look at these 18,000 stitches. And remember, I'm going to start at the bottom of the list. So this is harvest time. It's, oh, I didn't take it out of the sheet protector. This is stitched on 28 count Monaco. Let me back up. Just a heads up. Every single one of these Prairie Schoolers is stitched on 28 count Monaco. Which Monaco is only 28 from my knowledge, but I tell you that all the time. It's either white, ivory, or coffee tea dyed, I believe. But it's in one way, shape, or form, all the fabric for these is 28 count Monaco. So harvest time, I am working on the one with the houses and the, you know, this one here, top one. And for Prairie Schoolers, I use the called for colors, except for sometimes, most of the time, on the Halloween charts, I actually use 310 instead of the 3371. You'll see that. But on this particular project, all the called for colors. Sorry, hold on. I dropped my floss. No, I didn't. It's hanging out of the bag. Ooh. The best thing about coffee tea dyeing your own fabric is the glorious smell of it. It still smells like the coffee tea. It will fade over time, but it's very lovely. Okay, so here we are. This is 2 stitching times, 2 days, about 1,000 stitches. And what I did is I continued to work in the tree here and put the roof on here, and I actually added the tree here. I think I did a little bit more in the border as well. You know what borders are good for? If you haven't figured this out, at the end of the night, when you're a little tired and you don't want to count, you just grab your border color and you go to town. So there is harvest time. This one, I believe, is going to be the most fiddly of the 3. And I had more floss to do this one, so I'm kind of happy about that. To get the fiddly one out of the way first. Oops, I didn't put the pattern back. I'll do that later. Okay, next is heads up. This is a Halloween chart. I'm stitching these on white with 310 and then the other called for colors. Okay, last time I was here on the Halloweenies, I said, hey, if you want to vote on which one I do, then comment below. I think 2 people commented, said do the witch, whatever. I forgot to ask the same question for this one. So I posed the question to my family. I said, which one should I do? I'm really not inclined to do the devil because, I mean, I'm a Christian. What am I going to do? Why do I need to stitch the devil? So I said, talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a minute. And I went to do something and I came back in a minute. They both wanted me to stitch the devil. We're going to pretend it's a Halloween costume, and that's the best I can do, okay? So I finished the witch. She's in here somewhere. Okay, look at this. She's on exactly half of this piece of fabric. I don't know how this happens to me, but she is complete. So I stitched the witch, finished up her hat and her head and a little bit of her hair, her eyes, just a little couple things. And then I started stitching on the devil. So this piece I might be able to fit 2 on as well because it's 50%. So I started stitching him and I got this far, a couple hundred stitches. I can't remember exactly. And I think it's going to stitch quick actually. And this is on white. So that's how far I got. I mean, you can see he's kind of blocky. Can you guys hear my dog? My husband went to get gas in my car. And now he's barking because my husband is home. Okay, so that's heads up. 1,000 stitches. I believe that those will stitch up quick. 2 days max per little head. You're going to stitch up real fast. Okay, next was County Fair. County Fair 1 and 2. They're separate, but they're together at the same time because they use all the colors and they're similar. Let me dig in here and see what we got going on. Okay, County Fair 1 and County Fair 2. On this one, I was stitching on the rooster. And on this one, I was stitching on the sheep. Okay, so let's see if I can find the rooster. I have all of my fabric in here for all 8 projects. Okay, rooster. So what I did on this one is I stitched his tail feathers, and I think I did a little bit on the border because I don't think I had this part. So I stitched the tail feathers and a little bit of the border, and that's it. And that was 500 stitches. Right, because I did 500 stitches and then moved on to the next project this month, right? So that's pretty cool. But then when I went to County Fair number 2, I was supposed to be stitching on the sheep. And I'm going to show you the sheep. So I found that I had DMC 413, which is the legs and the face of the sheep. And I did not have the cream color or whatever color it is for the body of the sheep. So I finished the border all the way around, and then I started stitching on the foliage, and then, but my stitches weren't done. I still had stitches to go. So I started on, I'm guessing the hen, based on the colors, the hen. So I mean, just a little bit, but I finished my stitches on this one. So I have 2 on County Fair number 2, and then 1 started on County Fair number 1. And it really is easy to stitch. So, yeah. So good progress. 1,000, so almost 1,000 stitches on this one and 1,000 stitches on this one. This one I would think is not halfway, but maybe a third to, I don't know, 40%, maybe. I don't know. I'm happy with the progress on all these, and I really did have a great time. So let me get this back in the bag. It's a little difficult because there's a lot. There's a lot for this one. There's 8 pieces of fabric, all the floss, 2 charts. All right. Those are fun. Those are fun. They're from 1984, by the way. Fun fact. Prairie Schooler Book 1 and Book 2, 1984. Okay, then the next one up the list is Adam Names the Creatures. I don't have a lot of floss for this one either, but I was able to squeak it out. There, I mean, because there's a lot of colors, but at the same time, some of the animals are the same. Like the hippo and the elephant over here. There's the elephant. They're the same. And the giraffe and the lion are the same. So I was able to skip around a little bit to get my stitches done. And I think I put a little bit more into the border as well to get over to the giraffe. But the giraffe is looking pretty sad at this point. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Sorry. My hands are fumbly. Okay, so there are 2 colors on the hippo, but I only have the 1 color thread. So he's complete at this point until I get the other color. Then I stitched the rest of the body on the lion. I put some border down here and then skipped over to the legs of the giraffe. And that's all I got done by the time I got my stitches. So that's it. This is also coffee tea dyed, and it smells so good. I coffee tea dyed a huge piece of fabric for all of these projects. So a lot of them are fresh and smelling good. This one probably will take a while because that hippo was no joke. No joke. I mean, the next biggest is the elephant. If you can tell, the elephant. And then a lot of the animals are a lot smaller. There's a lot of them, but they're smaller. So maybe I could get 2 animals, maybe 3 or 4 animals, depending on their size, each sitting. Okay, Stars and Stripes. This is on ivory. Oops, I have stuff inside of here. Ivory. As you may remember, I finished the presidents. I finished the whale, except for the back stitching of the words in the water. And then I finished the ship, and I moved on to the Liberty Bell. Okay, I have some random floss. And yeah, this is the ivory fabric. And so I have I think one more row of stitches down on the bottom under the bell, and then the bell is complete. And then all I have is that border. I think I did put some more into the border, maybe here. I can't remember if I had that last time or if I just stitched in the bell. I can't remember. But some of these days that I was stitching, I was really tired when I got home. So if I had to make a choice on where to stitch, I was going to stitch on the easiest parts that I could. So the bell was the easiest. The border is going to take a little bit more effort just because I have to count my rows and that kind of thing. So I was really excited though, because that's a good dent in this one. And the eagle is the one that goes next to it. And look at that eagle. He is a solid guy there. So yeah. Okay. Next is a prairie year. First time I worked on this, I finished the watermelon, started the pumpkin. So then this time I was working on the pumpkin, and these ones is a little block for each month of the year. I have 5 of them done, I believe. Let me check really quick. July, August, September, November, December. Yes, I have 5 done, and now I'm working on the pumpkin for October. And here is the pumpkin. Let's see. Ooh, almost done. Or is it done? Let me check. Oh yeah, the pumpkin itself is done. Now I just have the vines and the flowers left. That shouldn't take me any time at all. I should be able to finish that in a day. I should be able to finish that in a day. That's really good progress. Yay. This is on antique white, I believe. Still Monaco. It's my favorite. My next favorite is Lugana, but I am not against stitching on Ada. I will do it. Okay, so the next one toward the top of the list, going from the bottom to the top, is Witching Hour. And I'm working on the big piece. Have the, excuse me, the little ornaments to go still as well, but they won't take any time. And let's see. I think this was getting fiddly for me. Let's see. Okay. I was working a little bit more on the alphabet. So I was putting in some more letters. I stitched the witch and her broom and then started on the moon over on this side. And then by the time I got the witch and the moon done, I was out of 500 stitches and I moved to the next. So it's getting there. It's getting there. I mean, I think she was the biggest witch out of the 3. Yeah, she's the biggest. And then there's a medium one and then a smaller one. But then there's a cat and the big moons, you know, and then the rest of the alphabet. So I'm getting there. This one seems to be taking me a long time. Now, granted, I have a lot of cross stitch projects and I also knit and crochet. So if I only worked on one project at a time, this wouldn't have taken me that much. But, so let me know if you feel this way as well. And I know that not everyone does, but I'll work on a project for so long and then it's not like I'm sick of the project, but maybe like I need a palette cleanse, so to speak, and say, okay, I need to work on something else for a while. And then when I come back to the project, then I just go, 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 go. But if I've been working on it for so long, then I kind of be like, oh my gosh, this is taking me forever. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm not the only one like that, but that's how I feel. Not that I dislike the project. It's just I need to move on for a little bit. Okay, Halloweenies. Like I said, once the, I can't remember if I came back to something or not. I don't know. I think I finished the month with the last project, I think. And then I needed something easy to start or to work on in October because I am a special ed secretary, and part of my role a couple times a year is to work with the pupil accounting specialist on doing count work. So count day was last week, and last week kicked my behind, and this week I'm faring a little bit better, but not so great. So I needed something easy, and so I looked on the list and I said, what is easy? And I actually created a wheel with all of my Halloween projects and was going to spin the wheel and work on something different per day, but I just couldn't do that with count. I can't do that with having my work being so demanding right now and like emotionally exhausting. So I picked this back up. And I can't remember where I left off last time. The witch, I think. Let me see if I can dig her up. I think I stitched the witch. I finished the crow the first time, and then I finished the witch. The only thing left on this block is the back stitching, and I didn't want to do the back stitching on my lunch break at work. So she has back stitching to do, but then I picked up another piece of fabric and I started the pumpkin head guy. So I'll show you. He's way down here. I hope you can see that. He's way down here. And so I made some great progress. I didn't have the color, the 3787 for his handkerchief, like neck scarf. So I need to find that, but I'm like, I can go up to the head and work on that giant pumpkin. So I did. And I got pretty far. Oh, he is missing a finger. He's missing a finger right here. What happened was I was stitching on it in the morning before I had to punch into work because I get there a couple minutes early. And so I had to stop really quick because it was time to punch in and get to work. And then on my lunch, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I have to end that thread. And I ended it. And then when I looked at it again, I'm like, oh man. So there's 4 stitches in his hand that didn't get done because I ended my thread and cut it off. Oh. Should have just stitched for a little bit longer. Okay, this one is Autumn Leaves. Autumn Samplers is the one that I had to skip because I didn't coffee tea dye enough fabric. So Autumn Samplers, oops, I dropped something. And on this one, I started with the big one. And this one was hard because I did not have a lot of colors to stitch on this. I'm getting sleepy. Where is it? When I kit up a project for Prairie Schoolers, I always cut enough fabric for all of the charts. So the big one and then the small ones, I always cut all of the fabric and put it in here, so that way I know that the entire project is stitched on the same thing. So that's why you're seeing me dig around a little bit, because I'm trying to find the piece of fabric. So here I grabbed the wrong one. So that's why I'm digging around a little bit, because I'm trying to find the right piece of fabric. So here we are. I put a little bit more into the grass, but I mostly worked on getting that house done and the crow sitting on the house. so that took 500 stitches. Yep. Yep. I was like, why is there 2 O's? This is going to be numbers 1 through 9 and then 0, right? And I'm like, why is there 2 O's? Because I didn't do the inside of the 9 right here. Oh, this smells good. You guys really need a coffee tea dye some fabric so that way you can like get what I'm talking about here, because it smells so good. It makes your house smell really good too when you're doing it. You use instant coffee and not like regular like ground beans. And there's just something about that instant coffee that really gives the air a great aroma. Okay, so this one is Hocus Pocus. Oh, I was stitching on the big piece. So there's a big piece and then there's 2 ornaments. So I have all of the fabric in here for this as well. So that's my floss. So the big piece, I finished. Yes. Oh, I'm just seeing that there's a couple of little tiny spots of orange that I did not stitch. I missed those. Otherwise, this block would have been done, but I missed the orange pieces. Maybe I just didn't want to fiddle with it at the end of the night, so I went and I started on the block next to it, which is palm reading. And I think I put a little bit more into one of the borders. I don't know, I think this one. I put a little bit more into, no, wrong way, this way, the border on the right. But yeah, I got the lock and the key done and the branches and whatever he's standing on, maybe a stump of a tree, maybe? Yeah, I'm kind of bummed that I missed those orange pieces because then that block would have been complete. But I bet, just knowing how the month went, that I was pretty tired at the end of the day. I'm guessing that's what happened. Something's stuck in my zipper. Okay. This one is Nevermore. And this one I was working on the small on the back, the urn and the bird. I think I started on the bird. Yeah. Okay. So here's what the urn looks like all finished. Yeah. I finished it. Yay. Look at all these little tiny milestones that I'm making this month in September on all of these projects. I'm really excited. And then I started on the crow and I got the fence finished and then I started on his body. Now I think it's going to take, his body's pretty big. Can you see it? Right here. His body's pretty big, but I think I could get that done in 2 days. And then this, okay, so that house in the center is pretty large. Where's the center? Here's the center. It is pretty large, but the rest of it doesn't look that bad. We'll see. We'll see. When we get there. When we get there. Someday. Okay. Christmas strawberries. I've never made a strawberry before. And I love these ones. And she also has, if you ever find for a reasonable price, the 4th of July strawberries chart, let me know. Okay. Okay. Christmas strawberries. I was working on the striped one down on the bottom. Oh, I didn't get it done. Shoot. Okay, well that's disappointing. I'm almost there. Let's see how much I have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have to finish this wide stripe And I have 2 more thin stripes and 1 more wide stripe, and then it's done. So not very much. I could get this done in an evening, but it won't be this evening. Oh, so close. This is on white Monaco. Some of the other ones might not take, I mean, okay, so this one's like full on stitches, right? The whole strawberry basically is covered in stitches. But then, like, look at this one. This is fiddly little, like, holly leaves, but it's not that. I don't think it's that bad. Yeah. I don't know. Little Christmas trees on this one. I started with the easy one because I thought I would be able to get it finished, but I did not. That's okay. That's okay. It's a lot more stitches than what it looked like. Cats, bats, and witches. And this one I started on the big piece as well, because remember, I didn't want to start all of them on the big piece or start all of them on the ornaments. I wanted a mix between the two. So I started on the big piece down here because I like a bottom right corner start. It just makes sense to my brain to do that. I know like some people love starting in the middle, or a lot of people like starting in the upper left corner, and it makes sense to them, but I would much prefer to start in the bottom right and work up and over. Okay, so I did not work any more in the border itself. I just was filling in more of the houses, and that's all I did was the houses. I didn't work on the trees or anything. I filled in windows, almost all the windows on that house. Somehow I didn't get them all, and that's it. I am almost, I think, halfway. Oh yeah, I'm halfway across the bottom now. Oops. So halfway across, so probably about here-ish. Yeah. And then, I mean, there's witches and things, but then there's words up on top, and the words don't take that long. So, I mean, I'm really getting a good bulk of the stitching done right at first and leaving the easy stuff till last. Yeah. Almost there. The next one is Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat. And I was working on one of the smalls, the house with the witch in the window. And I made some good progress. Let's see what I got. Oh, almost finished. Okay, let's see. Let me look at the chart so I can guide you along. Okay, I put the pumpkin in, but he still needs to be filled in and get a stem. These pumpkins on the bottom just need some back stitching. The tree needs back stitching, and that's all done. And the house needs, the window with the witch needs to be filled in. This needs to be filled in, and then there's a cobweb, and then like the light on the lantern. So almost, I could get this done in a day. I could get it done in a day if I just sat down and did it. But see, another thing is I'm not going to finish this ornament until I get all the rest of the project done anyway. I want them all to be the same. So it's going to sit until I get the other ornament done and then the big one. That's just how I'm going to do it. Okay. Where are we at next? I don't know. What is this? Pumpkin patch. Pumpkin patch, and I will believe I was working on the big one again. Pumpkin patch. Did you know that even though Prairie Schooler is basically retired except for the annual Santa, the website is still up and running? And if you click on inventory, it actually lists all of she calls them books, like this one's book 140. They're all on there in sequential order from 1 to whatever. I think it's low 200s. And you can click on them and see a picture. Now, the picture is not very good, but you could also Google. Like, once you find if you know the name or you know the book number, you can Google and find a bigger picture, because I know that some of these pictures are really small. So I'm not sure if you can actually see them very well, you know, like on camera. Okay. I think I already had the border done all the way across, and what I did was filled in. I put some more pumpkins, I think, maybe one more pumpkin, and started filling in more of the ground, and it took 500 stitches. That's all I worked on. Yeah. Oh boy. So it's getting there. But there's a lot of stitches on some of these. All the stitches are down on the bottom, and then you have a lot of words and then a little bit of stitching on the top. So whew, the whole thing is stitched all the way across. It's all full coverage. And then there's a house and a tree and words. More coffee tea dyed fabric. I think this is fabric I already had. I can tell because it doesn't smell like coffee and tea. So I already had that, and it was, I kind of burnt it in the oven. And so the one side was really dark. And so I was able to find pieces that weren't so dark that would go with this project without having to, because otherwise I don't know what I would do with it. I don't want to throw it away because it really, Monaco really is my favorite to stitch on. So I don't want to waste it. So I was thankful that I was able to use a lot of that last piece on something without having to throw it away. Or I guess I could probably over dye it with some RIT dye or something if I was really desperate. January. And I'm working on the middle one. The medium. Almost done, guys. Not just with this video, but this square. Let's take a look. I have one more kid, the rest of the house, and a couple snowflakes, and that's it. So again, 1 to 2 more days, and this would be done. Totally done. And then I could move on to the big one, which that's got a pretty big house. I mean, whoa, whoa. It's pretty big. Well, and not just the house, but look at, then there's like a full coverage little guy up here. Like that whole corner is full coverage, and then the house, and then just all the other stitching. So I really did start with the easy ones because I did the ornament already too. The little ornament, that's already done. It's around here somewhere. For some reason, I didn't put it back in the project bag with this, and it's in with my finishes instead. So the dog is barking again. I believe that that would be my daughter getting home from college. She commutes. Country Seasons is the last Prairie Schooler. Prairie Seasons, and I was working on winter, and basically that whole middle section of this chart of winter is full coverage. Where is it? Right here. It's like it's full coverage. It's full coverage because of the snow, and that means there's a lot of white. But I stitched more snow like a grown-up person should do. I stitched on a deer and a tree. So that was a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I think I stitched most of the white on the left-hand side and most of the deer, if not all of the deer. And then this tree had a lot of stitches, and it's not even done yet. No, it's supposed to go pointy like the other one. Yep. All right, that's all of the Prairie Schooler. So like I said, almost 19,000 stitches, and that was a lot. while I had fun, I think it was a lot to undertake because it was also 15 new starts. So that's why you see like some of them, you're like, hey, that's nothing for a whole month. I worked on them 2 days. Every single one of them I worked on 2 days except for Halloweenies because I have been plugging away at that since October started. But that's 2 solid days and I was working on it as much as I could. That was a lot. So the other, you know, in October, the other project, if I wasn't working on Halloweenies, I was working on this. And the reason why, because I thought I already finished it. And when I was going through looking for Halloween projects, I found it. So I was kind of bummed that it's not done. And I'm not going to put in a picture because it is a PDF. I'm not going to put in a picture because it's almost done. So let me just grab a chart to put behind it so you can see because it is black. And this is Holly Tree Farm from Stitching with the Housewives. It's kind of like a 4-part series, and this is the last one that I have in the series, and it's all done. And I thought I finished it. So there's trees and snowflakes on both sides, and a little tiny bit left on the barn. Just some green stitches right here, and then it's all done. Do you want to guess what this is stitched on? It's 28 count black Monaco. They don't make it anymore, but I was able to get my hands on some. It's my favorite. I really need good lighting. Usually once I have stitches in there already, I don't need to see the holes. It's like you just know they're there. I can't even explain it. Like they're just there. So this morning when I was waiting to punch in, I was working on this tree, the one that my thread is coming off of. But then I never ended up taking a lunch break. I ate my food while I was at my desk, but I never ended up taking a lunch break. So I didn't get any more done on this. So maybe after I'm done here with you, I'll go stitch on it a little bit more, see if I can work toward that finish. Okay. And there were a couple of times where I did not cross stitch and I was crocheting. Just small projects. I got it in my brain from Kelsey over at the channel Passionate, and I will put a link down. I will put a link down in the description box so you can go check her out. I've talked about her before. She's the one where, you know, I got the inspiration to make the market bag and the bandanas. But she makes these scrunchies out of this velvet yarn. And I thought, you know, I should probably make one for my sister and my niece and send them up to them because I haven't seen them in a long time. So I think the last time I saw my sister was the day my mom passed away, and that's been almost 2 years now. So I haven't seen her in a while. So I picked Electric Velvet, and this is the brand of this velvet yarn is Juicy Couture, which is exclusive to Joann's. And that's what Kelsey likes to use. It's her favorite to use for scrunchies, and it is very lovely. I will say, though, that it is hard, which is a pro and a con. It's hard to see the stitches, but for a project like this, you can manage. The pro side of that, the con side is it can be a struggle to stitch, to work on. But the con side or the pro side to it is you can weave your ends in anywhere and nobody's even going to see it. Yay. Because that's the thing that I stress out about with knitting and crochet projects is that the ends. Am I doing this good enough? Are they going to pop out? Is it going to come unraveled? Like, it's a stressor for me. And because I want to do good work. And I try to follow like all the recommendations out there. But how do you know which one is the best way? So this, you don't even have to worry about it. So I just take my tail and I weave it as far as I can go. And then I cut off the extra and I'm done. So I've made a couple of those. I do have a little bit more yarn. I think I can make one more, but I need to get the ends woven and sent off to my sister and her daughter. And then one day while I'm at work, one of my coworkers sent me a chat message because we use Google, so we have chat. She sent me a chat message and she said, you're going to get something in inner office mail. I said, okay. And this is what I got. She sent me this. It's a cross stitch project. Her mom just recently passed away a couple months ago, and she found this in her mom's things. I think you might recognize, you guys might recognize this project. This thing, I don't really know what this is, but the cloth is very lovely to touch. You like the feel of it, and there's pockets on the inside. She wrote on each pocket a number 1 through 6, and that correlated with the pack of threads that came in this kit. And they're all on her little bobbins, and it's all ready to go. Some of the bobbins aren't very full, so I'm wondering if she didn't fully kit it up, if she just chose out of her stash. Yeah, okay. Okay. So here is the project. I have seen this around a couple of times. It's a big project because you not only have one square for every single state, then you have the top, the top and the bottom. I'm just looking at it like, oh my gosh, this is huge. Huge. She has 2 complete squares done and a third one that's on its way to being done. So this is a huge project. Huge. Now I am kind of concerned about, I'm not going to show it, but like these are the instructions. This is old, right? It's from Janlin. I don't know if there's a, oh, it's designed by Jean Farish, who I believe is a Michigander. Oh my gosh. It doesn't even have a date on here that I can tell. I mean, there's a code up there, but I don't know what the code means. The code is 977-78. So I don't know what that means. Oh, here, 1988. It says by Janlin. Okay, so I'm kind of concerned. I'm not concerned about the instructions necessarily. I mean, it does have a little blurb in there for every state, like, hey, here's what you, what color you use to outline the block, and then what color you use for this, or do you use 2 strands or 1 strand? So each state has its own blurb of instructions, which is fine. But I'm not necessarily concerned about this because it's not going to get as much use as the actual chart. And I'm wondering if I mean, 1988, Janlin's still in business. It hasn't hit 50 years yet, so technically the copyright is still good. But I should be able to go and make a working copy so that way I can protect it. Because if it falls apart on me, it's going to ruin it for all of the other blocks. Because, is it front and back? It is not front and back, but it's in such... It's kind of in rough shape already. So, and it's a huge piece of paper. So unfolding it and folding it back to get to the squares that I need to get to, I would be concerned. I would be concerned about the paper. But my husband and I talked, and we think it would be really cool to finish this project. I'm gonna finish the project and then offer it back to her as a gift, since her mom did start. I mean, granted, her mom didn't get very far, but I don't know if she would want it or not. If she doesn't want it, then maybe, you know, I'll do something else with it or whatever. I'm not that concerned, but we'll see. But I just wanted to show this to you, that this came out of her mom's cross-stitch project stash. And she's just like, I'm not going to stitch on it. I don't have the time. And she said that she had other projects from her mom already done and framed. So she wasn't going to worry about this one. And that's kind of what made me think like, maybe, you know, maybe she would want it. So I'm going to stitch it for her. Hopefully. That would be my plan. Well, there's a little note in here. I don't know. Something for $11.99. was in the bag. Okay, so then I'm going to put in a picture of my latest project that is ready for display. Okay, so the other day, I'm gonna put a picture in here somewhere, okay? The other day, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's October. I cannot let another October go by without finishing my Halloween Rules by Lizzie Kate. And the thing, like, I haven't come up here a lot because in the summer, it's hot. But my finishing project, or my finishing piece, was over there staring at me for years now. And I said, I'm going to do it. So I carried everything downstairs and I got to work. Now, in the pictures, you're going to see this is not a perfect finish. I was on the struggle bus cutting the foam board. I was on the struggle bus getting it lined up, and it was all lined up and straight. And then I glued it, and then it wasn't straight anymore. And so I don't know what happened. I'm not super concerned about it because I'm not entering it into any contests. But my husband did say, we need to figure out how you can get your things cut a little bit straighter. And while he agrees we weren't going to be entering it into any contests in any time ever, it would be nice just to be able to have a little bit nicer, but also it comes with practice. So I'm not worried about it. You will see that there's parts of it that are not cut straight. Like the board, you can tell the board's not cut perfectly straight, and you can tell that I got it a little bit crooked when I glued it to the board, but it's done. And the bow on top, I made the bow. Now, a thing with bows and things, I struggle with having a picture in my mind of what I wanted to look at. Watching a tutorial and being like, yeah, that's easy. Yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah, that's good. And then getting my hands to cooperate to make it the way. I mean, bows are not that hard to make. I remember one time where my aunt had ribbon for her Christmas packages, and she was just sitting on the floor, just whipping them up with her hands. She would just cut a piece off and make a bow out of it. And I'm like, what? They're not that hard to make, but I have always struggled with the craft area, with getting the tutorial and the image out of my brain and through my hands. So I struggled with it a little bit, but I think that it turned out really well. And then I stuck a magnet on the back of it, and I stuck a sunflower on the front of it. Boom, done. And the bow with the sunflower can actually be used for fall projects in November as well once Halloween is over. So I hope that you saw the picture. I hope that you won't judge me on my quality of work. But it's fine. It's fine. But I put a lot of work into the stitching of the piece, and I didn't want it to sit in my unfinished spot in my bags over here in front of me in this area for another year. So I just did it. It took me 2 days because I didn't have any magnets. I ran out of magnets. So my husband stopped at Home Depot and got me magnets so I could stick it up on the finishing piece, right? And I found that finishing piece at a flea market a couple years ago. And the second that I saw it, I'm like, Halloween Rules. And then I said Christmas Rules. So if I stitch Christmas Rules by Lizzie Kate, then I can put it on the same finishing piece because it's magnets. Right? Okay, so that. Now, okay, so two more things to talk to you about. And then I gotta go. This video is getting long, so I apologize. Some of you like long videos, so. Okay, 2 things. One is the 2025 Michigan Stitching Friends Retreat. The registration is now open. I kind of streamlined things a little bit, so you will pay me and fill out the registration form with me, and then I will forward that on to the Cross Stitch Center or the Retreat Center. I plan on doing that every week as they come in. Even if I get one, I will get it down there to them and get it to them. So as you will see, if you look at the registration form, it has their cancellation policy on it because I'm going to take your money. I'm not even keeping any. I'm not charging extra. You pay me the registration money, and I'm going to forward them all over to the retreat center. So the cancellation policy is their cancellation policy. So if you register on Monday, I'm taking it to them whatever day, like that week that they're open, like Friday, Saturday, whatever day they're open, I'm taking them. So if you register that week, it's going to be turned in that week, so you will have to cancel with them. But so more about the retreat, its actual self. The registration fee is the only cost that you have outside of shopping and food. The retreat center and the retreat costs are basically all in one. I'm not charging a fee for the retreat because I don't have anyone to pay. If we were bringing in a designer to teach a class, then yes, there would be an extra fee. Or if we were having it at a hotel in their conference room, yes, there would be an extra fee because the conference room costs money. So for this particular location, the fee is for the room and the retreat center. So there's only one fee. And then we may, this last year, we had exclusive shopping hours with the local needle workshop. So if people want to do that and there's a spot in the registration form to let me know, I can arrange that with the shop. And then food. It's got a full kitchen. So a refrigerator and a stove and an oven, utensil, like cooking utensils and things like that. So you can bring groceries and cook. So if you're coming with a group of friends that you already know, or even, I can create like some kind of group chat or something for the attendees. And we can talk about, hey, like, do we want to do a potluck or, pitch in money to make something? Or there's several local restaurants in Chesaning where we can go eat at. We ate at Riverside last time. And then on the day that we went shopping, we actually went to a restaurant in the town. It's a 25 to 30 minute drive to the shop from the retreat center. And we ate at a restaurant there after we got done shopping. So there's options. We can cook, we can potluck it, or we can just go out to eat. There's lots of options. So I would mark your calendar and keep the link for the registration form handy. If you have any questions, my email address will be below in the description box, and you can email me at any time, or you can comment on the video, but really emailing me is the best way because then you won't get lost in the comments of the video. But I'm really super excited about this, and I hope that we have a space for 24 people again. And let's fill it up. So if you're watching this and you're even if you don't live in Michigan and you're within driving distance and you want to, or travel distance, however that may be for you, if you want to fly, whatever, fill out the form. Let me know. Give me some information. Send me an email. Let me, if you have any questions, I'm willing to discuss it and talk to you about it. And it's going to be a great time. And I look forward to it. But I just figured let's get on the ball and get this rolling sooner rather than later. So that way people can mark their calendars, and if they can come, arrangement so they can come, then that's great. Okay, so that's the retreat. I'm super excited, and more information to follow, updates as they come. But for now, that's really all we have to do. So the next thing is a shop update of sorts. So if you don't like shop updates, I thank you for watching this far, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. See you in a couple weeks. I won't be mad if you take off now. If you are interested in a shop update, I just want to tell you that I bought fabric and I bought floss, and I'm getting ready to start designing a new design. That's it. That's the entire shop update. I'm just really super excited about it, and more details later as I get the design actually done. I'll let you know how big of a piece of fabric you need, so that way if you want to prepare in advance, then you can get your fabric and floss ready. I can tell you that the fabric that I chose is 32 count Lugana, so it is on 32 count, but of course you can size up or size down if you want to go to 36 or 40 count, or if you want to do 14 count, you can. And I am using DMC 3371, so I will give you that tip. I did get 2 skeins of it just in case, but because I don't know yet. but I will give you more updates as things progress. Hold me accountable. I know Peggy is holding me accountable on the crochet temperature blanket. But with all of the fun things that I've been doing and with work, I mean, obviously I wasn't going to crochet on the blanket while I'm trying to do Prairie Schooler September. So I'm hoping to get back to that, as well as a palette cleanser between like designing and stitching that design. But as soon as I get a size for that design, I will let you know, so that way we can calculate together what size fabric you would need for 14, 16, 18, and 20 count, right? So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. Just because it's one of those ones like holy, 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 where it kind of like just like boom, just came on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So I have lots on the back burner that I'm still noodling around the ideas of, but this one was like super fast, and I'm like, okay, now I just need to get the computer out and get started. So thank you so much for coming to watch my video when I know that there's so many other videos to watch. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, because it does really help me get into the eyes of other people as well. And I know that that's not always, like, I'm not here to build numbers, but I am here to create a family and to share the designs that I feel God is asking me to share. So by you liking, commenting, and subscribing, it helps me do that a little bit more. So I hope that you enjoy the rest of your week and the weeks to come until I see you the next time. I hope that you found something in this video to inspire you to pick up a languishing whip, or maybe to even try something new. And until I see you again, have a great time. Bye.